Huawei has released the Watch GT6 series, and this is the Watch GT6 Pro. So we have some big improvements to the battery life, up to 21 days of light use, 14 days of normal use, so 2 weeks, phenomenal battery life. And if you're a cyclist, there are some big improvements with the tracking. The Cycling Pro mode with some features like virtual power now, so you don't need a separate accessory for that. It has a screen that can go up to now 3000 nits, the brightness, so it is incredibly bright. You can make it out in direct sunlight, and there are various other improvements that I'll be covering in this walkthrough and review of the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro. So Huawei sent out the version with the titanium alloy case and the brown woven strap, nicely presented, our Watch GT6 Pro. And under this, you will find then the charger. So it's like what we've seen before. This is a wireless charger. It does have a magnet in it, so it's all very easy to charge because you simply just place it the charger underneath like so, and then it will start to charge. And then in the other little side pouch here, there is the quick start guide. So that's what is included with the Watch GT6 Pro. So the pricing of this is $329 for the Watch GT6 Pro. And that is the cheaper version of it. If you want to get the Watch GT6, then you can save £100. That one is from £229. So it weighs 78 grams all up, just measured it with my scales. Superb build quality here with the titanium alloy. And there is a microphone right there. We've got our loudspeaker on the side. Of course, you can handle calls with this. And the watch strap, I'm not a fan of this. This is the brown and it's got the orange in there. It definitely looks to me like 70s decor a little bit is coming back with the brown strap. But these straps are interchangeable, so it's not going to be a problem. I can swap this out. Now, you've got a little button right here to press, and that simply just then slots, if I press it down properly. You need long fingernails. It slots up like that, and it comes off. And then when you want to put it back on, simply press in there too, and push it into place. And that is back on again. So very easy to swap over those straps. And I would probably change this brown out. Do you like the brown there? I would probably go for another color with it. But the frame, very nice with that titanium alloy. So our screen is 1.47 inches AMOLED. They've upped the brightness on there, so it is now super bright. This is going to go all the way up to 3000 nits is the peak with the screen. And that's a big change from the last model, which was 1200 nits. So indoors, it's perfectly clear. Outdoors in direct sunlight, when you're out training, out on your bike, going for a run, you can see the screen, and that's not going to be a problem at all. So our buttons here, we have our crown. So press them and you get all your apps. You can zoom and scroll up and down using that crown for the up and down there. It's got a good feel to it. Everything is precision built here. It is super ultra high quality. There's nothing that feels like it has scratchy edges to it. It feels cheap. And the strap silicone, very good there as well. And it's really strong. I mean, this is the weaker part of a watch would be around this area where it could break, but no, that's all really strong and reinforced. And my previous watches, I accidentally snagged them one time on a fence. And I didn't rip it off either or break it. So it's good to know that. So Huawei TrueSense with this, we've got our GPS, skin temperature sensing, our blood saturation, oxygen saturation levels there, arterial stiffness from the sensor on the side, ECG, and our heart rate variability also can be measured to as well. So we have the sensor on the side for those tests. The only thing it doesn't have, it's got pretty much everything, is your blood pressure. That's the Watch D for that, the D series, if you needed the blood pressure monitoring. So that is lacking. So excellent build quality. The touch performance of the screen is great. But let's get a little bit now into the UI. It runs Huawei OS. This is version 6, and the touch response with this AMOLED 46mm version, very good. That 1.43 inch size screen looks super clear and just responds to touch great. So you've got options left and right to go through. So these are our little bars that we need to fill up. The activity bars there, so calories burnt, how active we've been, and to ensure that we haven't been standing, or sorry, should I say sitting for too long, stationary. And here we have the emotional well-being, records, a overglance there of my health, the sleep time there, blood oxygen saturation levels, and you've got calendar, music, and phone calls. Of course, you can handle through this. Weather app is giving me a bit of information, And then we have a quick launch there of some of those workouts, which I'll go through in another section of this video. But let's just focus a bit on the operating system and how this all works. So we've got our quick toggles at the top: focus mode, battery life, your alarms you can set, find my phone, which is a handy one. So if your phone's missing, maybe it's down the side of the couch or something, you just tap that and it will tell you where it is. And now the screen options with the brightness here, you can have it on auto brightness. I've turned the screen on. And yes, you can have always on display too as well if you want, but it will be severely affecting the battery life having that screen always on. Now the battery life, like I mentioned in the intro, big upgrade here. It's phenomenal, and it was anyway with the previous models. They would go for 11 days, 12 days. So for typical light use, 21 days. I did just say 21. I know, that sounds crazy for a watch. So think about the Huawei watch has been amazing for battery life. Well, even better now. And compare that to an Apple Watch or a Galaxy Watch. They only last for 2 days, sometimes 3 tops. This will keep going. So with typical use, 14 days. And you can even use the dual band full GPS for up to 40 hours with the GT6 Pro, Watch GT6 Pro. So phenomenal battery life here. So inside you got all of those apps. I won't go through all of them, but you can see your activity records there, your calories, your sleep stats, ECG, and yes, you can have 24/7 ECG. You just got to wear the watch all the time. Arterial stiffness is in there, your skin temperature, breathing. There's a lot in there, workouts and everything. And watch faces through the app, you're able to change a lot of them. So I've got this one here, which is quite workout focused. There are different ones you can get with the app and download them. Some of them are paid, but these are the ones here that it does come with pre-installed. And there's some nice looking ones. If you wanted a more traditional looking watch face, you've got that option. Something there for if you've got children that they like. My kids quite like this panda bear one. There's another one with like a little fox on it. That's it right there. They like that. And it's got a few animations. And then you have some more straightforward basic ones, one that you can add a gallery to. And this is more of a traditional looking watch face, and it's great you've got this option to go along and change, and then all the custom modes. And this one here is another power user type one that gives you a lot of information, just all at quick glance on that amazing looking screen. Now there's always that question that pops up when I do review the Huawei watches, the Watch GT series or the Watch series. The one that is quite common is if I have notifications. So swiping up, I get my notifications. If there's something that I can reply to, you've got canned replies, which you can customize on the phone, and a little on-screen keyboard as well to type on with the watches. Then the one that is super common, again, is NFC payments. So there is NFC on board. There is a wallet feature, and depending on the region that you're in, is whether you're going to have support for this or not. Now, Huawei themselves are rolling that out in certain regions. You've got NFC payments, and there are other applications. So third-party apps, and I believe one of them is already pre-installed here. Where is it? Quicko wallet. Another wallet there that can process the payments. So yes, you can have just the watch on you and go and buy a drink and pay just with the watch using NFC payments. So that's great to know. So you can flick your wrist, of course, and the screen will come on and wake up. So the health monitoring features I talked about briefly. So we have our blood saturation, oxygen saturation levels. It's monitoring that, so 98%. Very good. Those gaps there are when I didn't have the watch on, obviously. Now you can either tap and go back when you're using the UI, double tap to go to recent apps if you wanted to, and you can even swipe, and that will bring you back as well. So navigating this UI is very easy. So we have here then the arterial stiffness, and this is using the sensor right here. So if I've just measured that before, 7.7 for someone at my age, that's good, that's absolutely fine. Normal result there. So to measure, I'll just show you that, touch the sensor on the side, and this is going to take 30 seconds, but I'll skip ahead. All right, and that just finished, and it measured again 7.7. No changes in there. Not that I would expect that into continual tests. The other is we've got the body temperature. You can go on and take a look at that too if you want. It's very straightforward. You can even see. And it's just you've got to keep wearing it, and it's going to monitor your temperature. Again, those gaps are when I was obviously not wearing the watch there. The ECG, so this is easy enough to find. You go through ECG, and it is using this sensor. And all you need, again, is just 30 seconds. So I'll measure that and skip ahead again. All right, so that's given me an average heart rate of 64 beats per minute. and no signs of AFib just as well. So there are stress levels, our well-being, emotional well-being, and you can go into then your workouts as well and add those. Now this button, well-being, a sensor for heart rate and these other functions I just showed you. You can also just tap it and then go into where all your workouts are. So they made a lot of changes to cycling, and this one I'm really pleased about because being a cyclist myself, this is going to impact me quite a bit. So you've got indoor cycle modes on there, pool swim, outdoor walk, outdoor run, indoor running, track running. You've got the route drawer option too as well. So it's going to use GPS to show you where to run. Maybe you're going on a forest run, and then you can find your way back to as well with that. And you got then diving, golfing. There's a golfing pro mode. Skipping even, mountain hiking, hikes, trail run, stair climbing, skiing, snowboarding, cross country, triathlon, cross trainer, rower, other as well. So there's a lot in there. Now the workout settings, it can give you those broadcasts, auto detect workouts. So auto detect cycling can do that now too. And you can have the display to set to be always on if you want. You can even have it with measure your heart rate and beat. And heart rate recovery too is an option that's in there. And over to the GPS tracking test and heart rate monitor. So I'm really pleased now that Huawei has put a bit more effort into cycling, because being a cyclist myself, I do a lot of mountain biking. I happen to own an electric mountain bike here, but I will be using it without the motor assist. So I won't turn on the Bosch CX motor it does have at times with some of the climbs. So I can get my general kind of heart rate, peak heart rate stats there, and then follow the GPS route that I'm taking, and we'll take a look at that accuracy after I've gone for around about approximately, I would say, a 16 to 18 kilometer ride. So I've started my workout here, as you can see. Now the crown is disabled. This is a very good idea, especially if you wear gloves, which I normally do when I'm mountain biking. You can often have those gloves there touch the crown. Well, that's not going to happen anymore, and mistouch prevention too is really good to have with this. So I've started that ride, as you can see. The stats are there. All right, I've reached my climb spot now. So some of you may recognize this area because this is where I do my climb tests and brake tests with my e-bikes and e-scooters that I do also review in the channel. I'm going to climb up this and not use the battery, really push it hard to get my peak heart rate result. Well, I made it to the top and got my anaerobic stress up to the level 4, the watch told me. And I was in the extreme workout zone because this is a steep climb and I was really pushing hard. And I haven't ridden for a month. My ride was 17.5 kilometers, 1 hour and 36 minutes, which is about right for me. Now, I did end up on the way home using the e-bike's motor. So I turned that on just to give myself a bit of a boost on the way back. But the climbs and everything else, I did all of those manually with this bike. So there's something that has really surprised me here on that GPS accuracy. So when you look at this road that I went up and then down, you can see that, hang on, why is one of the lines squiggly and the other isn't? This is where it has really surprised me. So on the way up, because the ride was so difficult, it was a steep climb up, going up to the mountain there, I zigzagged up. It managed to record that. So those very minute differences of me just riding about, say, a meter out, a meter and a half, and zigzagging up the road, the GPS accuracy is that good that it picked up on it, which is phenomenal. And then the way down, of course, I didn't do that. I just rode normally on the road, and that's why that line is then completely straight. And where I rode along the coast here in this part of the road, one direction and the other, it's showing that. So they aren't overlapping the line. So the accuracy has been absolutely spot on where I rode right to the end, and the part where I was riding along the coast here, that is all really good. So nothing is out of place. GPS accuracy, I think, absolutely almost perfect here. Phenomenal accuracy. So we get our charts here, my speeds. You can see my heart rates. This is where I pushed it really hard on the climb. So I got up to 174. Now with my polar chest mount, I know that when I push hard, it's around about that kind of figure. So that is good. It all checks out the accuracy here. Recovery time there too. And the altitudes. You can see this is the steep climb where I climbed up to 155 meters. And that coincides, of course, with where my heart rate was at its maximum. And I pushed it really hard. That whole entire climb, I wanted to keep in the anaerobic area. And I was able to do that. And then you get here the full details. So we have the duration, the calories burnt, elevation gain, all that information is there, and my recovery time. Huawei Health is the application that ties all of this in, and there's a lot in this. So we have all of our health at first glance, all of those stats, all of that key information. It's all in here, and some additional things like your weight. You can add that there, activity rings, that information is there at the top. You have your exercises. You can see I've done quite a bit of cycling there, almost 1,800 kilometers, while using this particular app and their watches. And if you go into devices, this is where you can find information like your exact battery life, watch faces, your notifications, app gallery, so download apps for it, manage your music on it, the weather, health monitoring, what you want to enable and not, your ECG, breathing awareness, arterial stiffness detection, all of that stuff is all in this. You're going to get all of that information right here. So the thing I wanted to show you and point out is my one area of criticism from the watch itself and the previous ones is the sleep tracking. Well, the time I go to sleep and when I get up seems to be correct. The times that I woke up does seem to be correct. I find it does vary quite a bit at times compared to what I would consider to be more accurate is a smart ring that I do have that I use. It does seem to monitor my sleep states a little bit better and the exact time I went to sleep as it detects. I think Huawei sometimes doesn't get this right, and there is a bit of work more required on the sleep stats, I think, here. Now, it told me that I got 8 hours and 9 minutes. I don't believe it was that much. It was probably more like 6 or 7. I have had a bit of insomnia lately. I have not been sleeping that good, and I did get up quite a few times. So that is high, and my deep sleep is low. So for that area, yeah, that's pretty good, correct. However, when it tells me that it thought I was sleeping at about 11:18. I don't think that is correct because I was still awake around that time, slept for a little bit, then got up, which it has measured. And it's just not, I believe, the most accurate here. Now, my rising time getting up at 8:08, that's fine. That's correct there too. So it can vary. I notice sometimes it seems to be pretty good compared to my ring that I use as a reference, and other times it is a little off. And of course, you've got all those stats there in there. You can go through all the different days that I have been wearing the watch, remember to wear it, and you can see the different nights and all those stats there. So that is the sleep monitoring. That's the only area that I think they need to work on a bit. So I can easily recommend the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro for its standout feature, that battery life. And for me, this has been the big draw card for the Huawei Watch series and the Watch GT series, is just the battery life. There's no other brand out there that can match them when it comes to the fitness tracking on this watch that's available, the accuracy, and then that battery life. So I have been using the watch now for 3 weeks since I got it and picked it up in London on one of my trips, and it's lasted me for normally around about 13 days with the GPS on and all the smart tracking features, the health tracking features on there. So I have the ECG on, the temperature sensor, heart rate monitoring, sleep monitoring, all there. Now, speaking of the sleep monitoring, this to me is the weak point of this watch. I mean, it's good, but it's not amazing. I have noticed compared to my other piece of tech, which I believe to be probably the most accurate, that's a smart ring that I'm using for sleep tracking, it is giving me quite a bit of a different result here compared to the Huawei. Now, the wake up and sleep times and whatnot, they seem to be fine. It's the actual time sleeping and the sleep stages doesn't seem to be tracked, I believe, quite as accurate as it could. So there's one area of improvement from Huawei there for that. Screen super bright with the 3000 nits. The titanium alloy build is excellent. Replaceable straps. And the NFC payments is another one. It's there, but it depends on which region. So it's not quite completely worldwide yet. So that's another area that Huawei is focusing on. So overall, an excellent watch. Well done, Huawei. They keep improving these watches and they're absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to stop using them because it's just that battery life is so good compared to the competition.